Hey, welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair, and this is Streaming Idiots. For those of you watching us live, you get the benefit today. We are streaming in high definition 240K video, 200K video. That's, I think, a 180p stream at 200 for video and 64K for audio. Yes, it can be done. And there may be times where you have to do this. Nobody likes to do this. Nobody chooses to do this. But sometimes you just got to go with what you can get. And when you're doing a live show, you're just getting what you got. And so I appreciate those of you that are watching live that have hung around and offered all sorts of wise counsel. I've taken advantage of most of that wise counsel. And we just have crappy internet today. We got to fix something. I want to give a shout out to all of you that are watching after the fact on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you'll subscribe to our YouTube channel because they'll send you notices. They'll send you notices when we go live. They'll also send you a notice when we upload another video. So we're kind of counting on that. That is, counting on uploading a high-quality version of this video today, so those of you that watched live can come back and can get the good parts in glorious high definition. Watching on the chat today to see if if we've lost our stream completely, but we're just gonna roll right through. You know, this is live. This is real. This is the way things happen. Is that sometimes things don't work the way you want them to. In fact, sometimes they don't even work the way you fear they might. It's even worse than that. And so you just have to say, it is what it is. We're going to make the best of it, and we're going to move on. For example, today is the last show of 2016. And I thought about doing sort of a retrospective on all the great stuff that happened during 2016. But you know all that. If you've watched this show, you know about all that stuff. Let's look ahead. Let's look off into the future together. Yeah. And see what we see. Based on what we've seen so far, if trends were to continue, if things were to move along the same way they're moving along now, what kind of things would we expect? And what kind of anomalies might just pop in? What kind of disruptive behaviors might some upstart companies take to change the way we look at things? Let's have a go at it. So let's bring in, with no further ado, let's bring in our 2017 top 10 live streaming predictions. So, live streaming predictions for 2017. Why, I should have had a little drum roll thing. I'm using my my X keys, and you notice how I got it all color coded, and it's all nicely printed. Did that on my little Epson printer. But and it's been fun to set up because things don't always work the way you want to. I did find out that I can advance and make the slides go backwards, so this is good. So we're going to be having fun. All right, top 10 2017 live streaming predictions in no particular order, just in the order they came on in my head. Is that number one? Live streaming via social media will expand and grow, but for all those folks that are out there using their phones, where's my phone? Using their phones to live stream their Christmas parade and their daughter's first birthday, and after a while, that's just they're gonna burn out all their friends because their friends don't want to watch everything about their lives. So those live streamers that are throwing a frisbee in the park and streaming it, eventually they're going to fade. And so Facebook Live, Periscope, all the ones that are coming into the market now are going to show a dramatic increase, and then it's going to tail off. And my prediction is that it will begin to drop. By the end of 2017, it will just be major corporations and live streamers. That is, folks that are doing what we're doing here today, other than our internet problems, that are making use of these free live stream CDNs. Now, there'll be organizations that have, say, a large following on Facebook, and so whenever they stream there, they'll get a good following, and that will continue. But this concept that you can do a whole show using your phone on Facebook, I think people are just going to get tired of it, frankly, because the quality is just not going to be there for the viewer. I mean, the audience. Your audience, that's who you're pitching to. So if you found a niche, you're going to have to escalate you're going to have to up your game. And that's going to be a good thing, because more and more people will begin to do what we're doing today. They're going to use graphics, and they're going to use PowerPoints, and they're going to use lower thirds, and they're going to bring in guests, and they're going to do, and while there's some pieces of Facebook, pieces of YouTube that will do that now, it's not going to happen as smoothly and as professionally. And so the folks that really want to live stream are going to want to upgrade, and that's a good thing. Number 2, there we go. Those folks that are doing that social media live stream are going to say, "There's got to be more. Is this all there is? Is this as good as it gets?" No. Here's good news for you social live streamers. There's a big brand new world out there, and it is filled with all sorts of cool things you can do. I mean, who was I talking to yesterday that was going to bring in 2 guests, one guest from Spokane, Washington, one guest from Key West, and they were in Canada. And they were going to do it all live over the internet, and one of the guests was actually going to be able to show their screen, not the screen of their phone, but the screen of their work surface, so that they could share some valuable information. That's what live streamers that are into social media will have to look forward to. Things that are even better than before. They're going to discover vMix and Wirecast and Livestream and maybe TriCaster and NDI, and their heads will explode. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I think number 3, and this is a prediction looking back at the path moving forward, that more and more churches, houses of worship, will discover live streaming and will embrace it. And one of the reasons that they will embrace it is because it fits in with their mission. Their mission is to spread the good news. And so they're going to take advantage of this medium to spread the good news near and far. I was talking to a pastor in Canada on Monday, and he said that they live stream to Africa and South America and Texas. Interesting combination, to be sure. But and they were ready to up their game, which is why he was talking to me. But they have found that this is a technology that you and I didn't invent, that no human invented. This technology was invented and placed out there for us to discover, and churches are going to do it because it's ordained, I think, for them to live stream. And that's going to be, and is, pretty darn awesome. Number 4, this all-in-one gear, and I'm not going to name names. Boy, I'd love to, but I'm trying so hard to be fair and even-tempered about this. But these all-in-one gears that have a live streaming element and a hardware element, and they're in a box, I think they're going to fade away. I think vMix already discovered that the hardware-software combination was just, it was too expensive for them to bring to market. It was too expensive for the end user to buy and use, when they can come to somebody like moi, and we can build a custom streaming box that does everything you need it to do, plus it's future-proofed, and for, what would say, 75% of the price of one of the brand names that's a hardware-software solution. And that would be the lower price brand name, not the bigger price brand name. Shoot for a 25% of the bigger price brand names. we can build a custom streaming box with vMix, and you would still have money left over to buy cameras. It's a win-win, I think. So, bad news for some folks that by the end of next year, the offerings that they've spent a lot of time engineering, getting the technology just right, it's gonna go away. It's gonna go away. Prediction number 5. I predict in the world of competition out there between Switchboard, you remember the Joycaster folks, and Restream, that Switchboard is going to, by the end of 2017, will dominate the market. They are dynamic. They are thinking outside the box. They've got features coming out the yin yang. They've got functions all over the place, and they are going to take over that niche that is the one-to-many ability to stream. And their days might be number 2, but I think they're going to end the Restream folks by the end of 2017. Number 6. Are we moving too fast for you? You making notes? Because you might you might want to bet on some of this. Thousands of people will take up streaming next year, 2017, and they will be terrible. Even worse than me today. But they'll only be terrible at first because they'll persevere. They will have a passion that they want to share with the world, and they are not going to let any roadblock get in their way. They're going to learn. They're going to seek out. They're going to seek out knowledge, that is information. They're going to seek out wisdom from those who have it as to how to put all that knowledge, that technology together and make it work. And they are going to bring about a change in their little area, whatever it may be. It may be politics, maybe medicine, maybe child rearing, maybe making shoes. Whatever it is, they're going to bring about change in that area through live streaming, and it's going to be great. They will practice, they will learn, they will test, and they will get better, and they will be hugely successful within their little niche. It's going to be really, really fun and really, really cool to watch it happen. In fact, we've seen some of it happen right here on this show. Again, not naming any names, Giles. Oh, that's right, I wasn't naming names. Oh, sorry about that. How many of you have watched a webinar? Well, my prediction is that webinars, every webinar, all webinars, 100% of webinars by next year's end will include live video. It's just way too boring without it. PowerPoint, it's gone, unless it's something like this. This is a PowerPoint that, has a purpose. It gives you something to look at if you don't want to look at me, kind of keeps you on point, helps me stay on point. But the idea is that you and I are communicating eyeball to eyeball. You are forming an opinion of me. You are saying, is this somebody you've seen me a couple times, so you know who I am. You've listened to me crack a few jokes, so you might like my sense of humor, and you're beginning to warm up to me. And then at some point in that process, you're going to begin to trust me. And you're going to say, this guy really does have my best interest at heart. You can't communicate that without the face, without the mouth, the nose, the eyes, the ears, the whole look, because that's how we communicate. A voice is good, and text is good, but a face with it, that's the bomb. That's the bomb. And I predict every single webinar in 2017, at least the ones that are going to be successful, are going to include a live video element. And so if you're thinking, oh, golly, I want to do some webinars for 2017, you better start planning live video into those. I think it's the only way to go. 2017, thousands of people will begin live streaming, and they will spend lots of money. And then they'll give up. Why will they give up? They'll give up because it's not as easy as it looks. They'll give up because they don't have the fortitude to push through when problems happen. Do problems happen in live streaming? Are live streams always perfect? Today is a beautiful example. Again, if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, we are streaming live with a 180p image. That's 180 pixels. That means from top to bottom, top to bottom is 180 pixels. Generally, we're streaming at 720 pixels, so the resolution is fuzzy. Can you even read those words? I don't know, at 180p, because our internet connection went to poo. And anyway, don't give up. If you're getting into live streaming, don't give up. It will be immensely rewarding. Don't give up. The other thing I'll say besides don't give up is test, and test some more. Because that's the only way that you're going to know that you've got it right. So that when the time comes and you're live, and you're live the way you want to be live. But you got to practice, you got to test. The guys out there are saying, yeah, we can read that. We can read that at 180p. Okay, good. Number 9, and I'm going to catch some flack for this one, but that's all right because, I'm a big boy. I can take it. There'll be lots of so-called experts in the streaming world now who will say, I can coach you new live streamers because I have been successful for 4 months and I know everything there is to know about live streaming. And I call BS on that. If you are learning from somebody, you doggone well better know that they are more than 1 or 2 steps ahead of you. Because if they're not, they could be going down a dead end themselves and leading you with them. So if you are looking for somebody to mentor you or to coach you or somebody to pay attention to you, make sure it's somebody that's got some history behind them so that you can see, yes, this is a person that I've seen where they've been and I know where they are and I can tell where they're going. Instead of a flash in the pan that gets a wonderful website that has all sorts of great sales funnels and funnels you into places where you can, of course, make the decision that you want them to do. Or are you going to find somebody that you can trust that's going to be looking out for your best interests because he has a history of, because they have a history of doing it. Is that a little self-promotion? Probably, but doggone it, I get so tired, not tired, but frustrated and disappointed and really a little hurt when I get that phone call that says, well, we hooked up with so-and-so and they sold us this and they sold us this and they sold us this. And it doesn't do what we wanted it to do. And they're slow to return our phone calls and our emails they got their money and they ran is what they did. So if you're going to get engaged with somebody that's going to assist you, make sure they got some roots. Make sure that you know where they've been and you know where they're going. Number 10, and the last one, and this is probably the most important one. During 2017, I think, this is my prediction, and you'll probably agree, that more business professionals will make live streaming a keystone in their public relations plans. They will decide that live streaming is a great way to get their message across, that they, as a business professional, are an expert in their area and worthy to be trusted. And live streaming, eyeball to eyeball, is going to be the best way to do that. Now, yes, we can bring in videos, we can bring in graphics, we can bring in charts and graphs and guests and all sorts of other things. But eyeball to eyeball communication for 2017 is really going to hit its stride. And more professionals will engage that, and they'll make that not just an occasional thing, but a regular part of their plan to bring their business or their organization or their practice or their nonprofit or whatever it is, bring that to the real world to take a look at. And you say, if you're listening to this, you say, okay, Tom, my lawyers won't let me do that. I'm not allowed to say anything live. Then I understand. You're going to be the exception to the rule on that. But you would be amazed. I go back to this fella that called me, it's been a couple of years ago now, from New York. And he wanted to start a TV show, an internet TV show, that where he could not illustrate, but where he could show people how to make shoes, because he liked to make shoes and because he thought it would be interesting. Now, nobody on his city block was interested. They just weren't. But with the internet, everybody's on your city block. So he was able to find dozens at first, then hundreds of people that were interested, and he created a wonderful show. And he was able to sort of bring one of his passions out, and other people could take advantage of it. It was a good thing. It was a good thing. The internet will do that. So even if you think, well, there are not that many people that would be interested in talking about Social Security law, there would be thousands of people interested in that. And they would be very interested in it, especially in a format like this, where we've got interaction. Now, yes, could I set it up where I could take a phone call on the air? Yes, I could. In fact, every time I talk to my mom about this show, she says, well, did you get a lot of calls today? It's like, no, Mom, we don't take phone calls. I'm not that crazy. But we do have the chat room. And if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, you don't get to see the cool chat. In fact, let me just bring it in for a second. It's part of our pre-show. And this is the chat room over here. That's a whole page unto itself, and in the pre-show, you get to see what the chat room looks like. But in the regular show, the show we're in right now, the chat room shows up on our website, easternshorebroadcasting.com, but it doesn't show up in the YouTube feed because I want to have all this real estate for myself and whatever else I might be doing. So the interactivity, and then see, this is where television, traditional television, loses it. Even cable TV is you can't communicate with your audience. Here, we're going to communicate with our audience, and I'm going to see that my buddy Tom up the road in Alabama is watching, and my buddy Merle, who's up in Indiana, is watching, and my buddy Gerald, who's up in Atlanta, is watching. And I can go through the list, and Brian, who's over in Ireland, is watching, and Prashana, who's in Nepal, is watching. You develop a relationship with the folks that are your viewers, are your audience. They're actually your partners. And when you see it like that, you can unlock amazing potential in communicating. Whatever it is you're communicating, it doesn't matter. The message becomes a kind of a plugged in kind of thing. So that's it. That's Tom's top 10 2017. I might start calling it 2017. 2001 you couldn't say 21 because that wasn't right. 2010 you could say 2010, and now that we're up to 2017, maybe we can kind of see that all the way it was. It's now 2017, not 2017. So very quickly in recap, very quickly. Live streaming via social media will expand, and then people will lose interest. A lot of people will still do it because it fits, but the fluffy folks, the ones that are streaming a walk in a park, those are going to go away. Number two, those social media live streamers that really got hooked are going to say there's got to be more, and they'll find what we're doing, and it'll be very cool. Number three, more churches will begin to live stream because it fits perfectly with their mission. This is number four. Those all-in-one streaming gear boxes, they're going to go away because too many people out there will be like me, and they will say, I'm not paying all that when I can build it or have it built for me. By the way, plug for me. That's what I do. Number 5, I think Switchboard Live will erase Restream.io by the end of the year. Well, let's watch that one and we'll see. We'll come back to that one next year and see. Number 6, thousands will begin to do live streaming, and they'll be terrible at it at first, but they'll persevere and they'll break through and they'll learn and they'll be successful. Number 7, every webinar, all webinars, 100% by the end of next year will include live video. Yep, it's going to be there. Number 8, thousands of folks will start live streaming and they'll get bad advice and they'll give up and they'll go away. And they will attach themselves to the wrong mentor, to the wrong coach, to the wrong teacher, because that teacher will be interested in their money, not in their success. Find somebody that's interested in your success. Number 9, so-called experts will coach these new live streamers, and it's not going to be good because the same thing happened with podcasting. You know, the people that were instant podcasting experts because they've been doing it for 6 months, when really all they wanted to do was give you a bunch of Amazon links so they could get their 3% commission, or they'd sell you a book or, you know, a package, whatever it might be, when really they didn't know whether it was the best thing for you or not. They just knew it was what somebody else said. And number 10, more business professionals will engage with live streaming as an essential part of their public relations plan for 2017. Going to be pretty cool. Going to be pretty cool. I'd love to hear what you have to say about these 2017 predictions. Do you agree with me? Are you a Restream guy and you think Restream, oh, no, that can't go away? Are you one of those people I'm criticizing as so-called expert and saying, hey, look, Tom, I may have only just gotten into it, but I really do know some stuff. I may have to retract some of these predictions. But let's just leave it out there and see what happens. I'll be publishing these on the website too, so you can go back and refer to them if you want to. And, you know, what the heck? Let's just see. You know, I could be right on all counts. Now that would be scary. That would be scary. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be with us, especially those of you that the 3 of you that are still with us live. I teased, there more than that. But for those of you that are watching us after fact on YouTube, please visit our website, easternshorebroadcasting.com, where you can find out more about this show, more about what we do, the custom PCs we build, the software like vMix that we represent, the great products like PTZ Optics, PTZ cameras, and Magwell capture cards, and X Keys controllers. We'd be happy to fix you up with those, but not only fix you up with it, but bring a lot of wealth of knowledge. And I had a guy call me today. He said, Tom, I've got a PTZ Optics camera, and I've got vMix software, and he loves them both, by the way. And he's doing, his community has periodic board meetings, and so they tape them and they live stream them. And he was having a problem with delay, or audio video weren't in sync. And he'd gotten lots of advice from people. He should have called me first. He did call me first, and I didn't. His call went to voicemail, I'm sorry to say, and it took me a 24 hours to return his call. I'm so sorry, Dave. Anyway, well, his problem wasn't what everybody thought it was. They didn't listen. They thought he was having an audio-video sync problem, i.e. the audio was arriving first. But no, his problem was that the audio was arriving late. Well, that's a whole different issue altogether. We don't rustle up the usual suspects when the audio is arriving late, because those suspects aren't the ones we need to look for. So find some folks you can talk with that you know you can trust. And if you can't find anybody, you can find me. Whoops. EasternShoreBroadcasting.com. I'm Tom. If you need a consultation or a coach, I can help you with that. If you want to talk about building a custom PC, I can help you about that too. Those of you watching live, hang out. We're gonna have. I'm bringing refreshments to the post show party today, so you don't have to worry, because I see Jim Moline just showed up late. But normally whoever shows up late has to bring the refreshments. But we're going to call it a show. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Have a great one.